Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. It's crazy to think that we are already in episode 4 of this little series that I'm doing about flipping houses. So we have had 3 episodes before this, and I'm trying to explain what I'm doing with this in the beginning of each episode. So I get a ton of questions about flipping houses, flipping to sell, flipping to rent. We have done both, and I have shared them all over the years on my other platforms. And so I get a lot of questions, and I kind of put them together in a way where I could do these mini episodes so they're kind of in bite-sized nuggets and they don't get too overwhelming, kind of from start to finish. And so if you have any questions about any of these episodes or anything I'm talking about inside the episode, or you want me to dive deeper into something, please make sure to reach out to me, because that tells me what I need to do next. So if there's something you want some more information about, like I said, you have a question about something, please reach out to me and let me know, because then I can do a follow-up episode. And I never share your name, so that you don't have to worry about that. So today we are going to talk about how to stay on track during a flip with your budget, your timelines, managing delays, those kinds of things. Budgets and timelines, they always look perfect on paper, right? Until you start demoing. And the truth is, planning a flip is part math, part project management, and part learning to roll with the punches, literally, because your house is going to throw different things at you no matter what. So I'm going to share some things that will help you build budgets and timelines that are realistic, flexible, and beginner friendly, because this kind of stuff is what we didn't know. I mean, we kind of knew, like with my dad, but until you're like really in it, you don't know. So these are some things that just kind of have helped us. So like I said, if you listen to episode 3, we talked about estimating repairs and making a smart offer before you buy the house. And this episode is different because this is kind of what you do, what happens after you get the keys. Once you buy the flip, you have the keys, the real work starts, creating the renovation plan, building a budget that can survive surprises, and setting a timeline that you can realistically meet. So this is usually where new flippers will get overwhelmed, because everything moves so quickly and problems show up fast, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? So I kind of just want to break it down for beginners and kind of share some things that'll help you stay sane during your flips. Hopefully, that's my goal. So when you're new, it's easy to think, I'll just write down what my budget is, and I'll think each project and what I think each project's going to cost. But the budget needs to be more than just list expenses. It needs to keep you in control when something unexpected hits. So like I said, whenever I make a budget, I pad the budget, right? So because with every little thing, you're going to have a surprise or something. And on the flip side, you may have let's just say you budgeted $5,000 for a kitchen, and you may get through it and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it didn't need what we thought. So we only had to spend $1,500 there. Like that does happen too, but you just want to make sure that you pad the budget. And so the budget, it keeps you in control. It's like you're guiding, what do I want to say? Like you're guiding light when you're doing a flip house, because it's gonna, like I said, I pad it and then I want to come in way under, right? But it's just gonna help you understand what you're going to do next in your project and what other things need to change. Instead of one giant number, instead of saying, we're going to spend $20,000 on this house and just put it down there, you want to break your budget down into buckets or subcategories, right? So the exterior cost, that's going to be your roof, your siding, your gutters, your porch, paint outside, landscaping, the garage, like whatever your bucket is, right? You want to make sure that you're kind of breaking down each thing into into separate categories. And then you have a budget for each. Interior cosmetics. So interior cosmetics is not plumbing. This is your floors, your paint, your light fixtures, those kinds of things. Then you're going to have your kitchen, your bathrooms, your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, structural, permits, miscellaneous and surprises. I always have a little budget for that. So that just kind of break it down, right? Because this is going to help you stay organized, and it makes it easier for you to pivot if something changes. And it may get to the point where you're like, again, let's just throw out that $5,000 budget for the kitchen, right? And you're like, okay, we're going to do new cabinets, new countertops, new appliances, whatever. And then you're going to be in the basement and you're going to find that you need a plumbing something and you didn't, budget so much for the plumbing. So now you can go back and look at your budget and be like, okay, the kitchen, we don't really need new countertops. Like we can save there to help pay for the plumbing. Do you see what I mean? Like, since you have your separate buckets and you can kind of, see where everything's going, it just keeps you more organized. Step 2, get 2 to 3 quotes for the big stuff. So I've said that before, labor costs and just costs in general for getting a job done, they're going to vary and they're going to differ all across the board. So even if you think you know what something's going to cost, you need to always get a quote when you are new. Even us we did not have a house for 5 years. And so everything changed and the prices on everything had gone up. And what we thought, something cost, it was not that at all anymore. So you definitely want to get 2 to 3 quotes. We have had many different contractors come in and give us different quotes, and some are a lot higher, some are a lot less. There is always room for negotiation. I always negotiate with the contractors, and you may be surprised with the cost of some things. Like in this flip house we just finished, there were some new things that we had that we were like, hey, let's go ahead and try this. We've never done it before. And we were pleasantly surprised with the cost of what that was. So, it kind of does go both ways, but know that it's mostly going to be a little bit more than what you're thinking. And so this I kind of talked about last time. Step 3 is you're going to add a cushion or a buffer to every category. Remember that. For cosmetic items, here's just kind of like a roundabout. Add 10 to 15%. For unseen or structural items, add 20 to 30. Demo always reveals something. So you think you're going to go in and you're going to start, laying down some LVP, plank flooring, and then you're going to find out the kitchen flooring underneath. I talked about this in the last episode. Underneath the refrigerator all the subflooring needs to be ripped out. So you start demoing and you're going to find some other issues or problems or things that just need to be tackled. So just remember that. And that's where your kind of buffer comes in. Step 4 is budget for tools, dumpsters, and forgotten costs. So sometimes people forget about a dumpster. The last house we just bought, the entire house was full. They lived there since the 70s. They left everything in it except for what they took with them. And we knew we were redoing a lot of stuff. So we knew we needed a dumpster. So new flippers often forget about dumpster rentals, tool rentals, if you have, a certain project that you need to do, or if you have to purchase a tool, paint supplies, cleaning supplies, extra runs to the hardware store because that is your life. I don't even know how many times we go to Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot during a project. Like it's crazy, right? Gas for hauling things, it's just, these things will add up fast. Always recommend, I usually, around $800 to $1,000 for hidden items, depending on the size of the project. These, I'm just trying to give you numbers that'll kind of, it's kind of, what do I want to say? Vague, or it's kind of just like a number to kind of help you, but every project is going to look so different, even on the same size house, because every house is going to need something different. So this is just kind of a little, roadmap to just kind of help you a little bit. How to build realistic timelines without setting yourself up for fail. So timelines are where new flippers can get really discouraged, not because you're lazy or unmotivated, but because you underestimate how long things will take. And this kind of goes back to the first episode, where is flipping even right for you right now? Meaning, at this stage in your life, what does your daily life, what can you commit to this project, right? And are you someone that's going to be, overwhelmed quick? So like for Matt and I, we know we both work full time, and we know, and we always say this because people are like, oh my gosh, like it takes you forever. Or we just know for 3 to 4 months, this is our life. Like nights and weekends, this is what we're doing. You may have a ton of things on nights and weekends and working full time. So this goes back to, is this right for you right now in the stage that you're in? Are you somebody that, you're going to get into this project and let's say it's nights and weekends, or one of you don't work full time outside of the house? You may be like, okay, I'm going to get this done in 2 months. And then you get into it and you get fully overwhelmed and you're like, I can't do it. You really have to be honest with yourself. Is flipping right for you, period. And that's why I started the first episode with that, because it all comes down to like everything, the budget, the timeline, everything kind of comes back to that. And knowing how long projects actually take, how long contractors take, that's a huge one. How long materials take to arrive, how long a custom kitchen takes to get there and installed, how long custom windows get to be ordered and made and then installed, right? It's just you need a realistic timeline. So step one in how to do this is you want to list every project in order, right? So you're going to write them all down. Demo, structural fixes, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall, paint, floors, cabinetry, final finishes, cleaning, staging. That's just kind of, again, that's just a rough list of how this is going to go in order. Again, every project's going to look different. It's kind of like dominoes, right? You can't do floors before drywall or paint before electrical, right? So there's actually an order to do things. And we've learned this the hard way, where it's like, okay, let's just go in and paint. Let's just paint everything. And then you've got, drywallers, or you've got new windows coming in and you need to go in and trim everything out again, right? So ask every contractor for their timeline, right? They will, when can you start? How long will it take? What delays usually happen? What do you need for me to start on time, right? This saves a lot of back and forth. And if you're getting something custom ordered or custom whatever, how long does it take for stuff to get in? And it's usually, I'm going to be completely honest, they're going to give you a wide range to cover themselves, right? So, 8 to 12 weeks. That 4 weeks is so long. Such a huge chunk of time. So just know that, they're going to give you that really wide, and let them know you're on a timeline. You need to rent this out by such and such date. You have people moving in on such and such date. Let them know your timeline as well. And then just like the budget, you're going to add a buffer, right? For smaller flips, add 1 to 2 weeks. For bigger flips, it's 3 to 6 weeks. 3 to 6 weeks, especially if you're going to do everything, you're going to DIY everything. That's a little different. This last flip, we had custom windows and a custom kitchen, and that added the 3 to 6 weeks onto our project. So for a bigger flip, or for maybe, if you're getting some custom things that need to be made and ordered and all of that, and they need to come in before they can get installed, that 3 to 6 weeks is going to be your buffer for that. If you finish early, amazing, right? If something delays you, you've got it in, you've got that buffer, you've planned for it. Part 3, track your progress so you stay in control. So this is kind of something you can use like a Google sheet budget, right? So you can break down your budget, track what you estimated versus what you actually spent, like do all that spreadsheet kind of thing. Matt loves a spreadsheet. I'm not that kind of person. A weekly walkthrough checklist is always good. So Matt and I will, depending weekly, sometimes it's daily, depending on where we are in the project. What's done, what's behind, what needs decisions, what needs to be ordered, what's next. Like all of those things you kind of want to do, depending again where you are, either daily or weekly. Just depends on where you are. I'm taking a quick break from the episode to share some exciting news with you. If you have ever wanted to flip furniture for extra cash, a creative outlet, or to build a business but didn't know where to start, there's never been a better time. My Furniture Flipping Academy is now just $79, which is over $200 off the original price. Inside, you'll learn how to find amazing pieces on a budget or for free, how to transform them step by step, sanding, painting, staging, all the things, how to price and sell for real profit, and even know how to work with brands to grow your flipping business in more ways than you know. And that's just the start. There is so much more waiting for you inside the Academy. We have so much packed inside the Academy. It's completely self-paced. Once you buy it, it's yours for life. There are no deadlines. There's no pressure. We do have a sneak peek inside the link in the show notes. It will give you a glimpse inside the Academy. And here's the truth. Nothing changes unless you do. You can keep waiting for the right time, or you can take this step now. At $79, the price isn't holding you back anymore. So stop hesitating. Stop making excuses. Click the link and get started today. Even a simple whiteboard for the job site, this is our to-do list for today, this week, whatever. Who's responsible for what? Matt's doing this, Lindsay's doing that, John's coming to do this on Thursday, whatever. And then the deadlines, right? So then everyone sees it and everyone stays on track. And keep receipts, measurements, paint colors, all SKUs for the things, your contractor contacts, all the quotes in one place. Keep it all organized. So if that's a folder, if it's a notebook, if you like to do everything online, just keep it all organized and in one place, because that's a game changer, right? So you don't get overwhelmed. Another thing for me, just because this is my job and this is what I do, but I'm creating content around the projects, right? So I'm sharing the entire thing. And so for me, being able to go back, let's say, you're working on the house 1 week and you're like, nothing's getting done. Nothing's getting done. I feel like I'm painting the same walls. I feel like all I'm doing is trimming paint. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like and you will have those points in your flips. I promise you will. But for me, it's like I can go back and look at that reel or that YouTube video or that blog post and be like, my gosh, we've really come a far way. And I encourage you to do that. So even if it's like every Sunday or whatever, you take a quick walkthrough video of your flip and just keep it for yourself. Not that you have to post it anywhere. It's just because when you have those times when you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, nothing's getting done, it's good to just look back on those. I promise you, that's a game changer. Do that. I encourage you to do that. I think it'll make a big difference. So the next part is managing delays, problems, and back orders. This is what every beginner should know. Expect delays, and this is normal. Delays are normal. Expect contractor schedules to shift. We had a plumbing thing that we needed done in this last flip, and the plumber that we really love, we're like, hey, we're still waiting for this, so then you can do that. He's like, okay. And then as soon as the one project got done, which we were waiting for another thing to get done from somebody else, it was out of our control. It finally got done. And he's like, I can't do it for 4 weeks. He's like, I am in a job for 4 weeks. There's no way. We were like, what are we? We cannot wait 4 weeks. Like we were almost done. We couldn't wait 4 weeks. So he was able to give us a name for somebody else, which was more expensive, but just know that that's normal. It's going to happen. And expect at least one surprise repair. Definitely normal. That is so normal. And I shouldn't have said one surprise repair. I should have said 6. Like one of them was this last one. We had to get the garage floor lifted. So it was on one side, the cement was sagging. And so it was like taking the garage with it. So we needed to have somebody come in and lift the cement and level it out. Well, then Matt decided that he could level a garage door. Do not ever do that. Do not ever do that. Do not ever do that. I shared it in stories and in reels if you saw any of that content. He made it a lot worse. So that was a surprise repair. Then we had to have them, who we should have done that. We had to have the professionals come out and fix that garage door. So it's definitely normal and it's going to come up. Expect at least one product to be discontinued or back ordered. Always normal. Always normal. This last house, it was one kitchen pole for the cabinets. One. It took weeks, a couple of weeks to get in, I want to say. And then you had to have the people come in and install it. So that's going to happen. Your job isn't to avoid problems, because that's not your job with all this. It is your job to respond calmly because you planned for them, right? If you plan for them, it stinks. It sucks sometimes. It's going to cost you more money sometimes. It's going to cost you more time sometimes. It's going to cost you a little bit more stress and heartache and all of that, but you've planned for them, right? So you can't avoid them. You've planned for it. But yes, and it still does suck, and it's just part of the thing. So basically, a budget and a timeline aren't just numbers on a page. I cannot reiterate that enough, right? It's a roadmap for staying sane and staying on course for, through your flip, right? Break things down into categories, build in buffers, track everything weekly, take those videos weekly, stay organized, expect delays, and keep it simple, right? You can run a flip confidently even as a beginner. Like, this can be done. It's not rocket science, but it's definitely overwhelming when you're somebody that you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I think I could do this. I think I can do this. And then you have like 900,000 questions. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And that's why I'm trying to put this little series together, because I do get a lot of those questions. And so I'm hoping this series is helpful. If you find it helpful, somebody that could, benefit from this series, from this podcast, please share it with them. I always appreciate when you share the podcast. It just gets the information out to more people. And again, like I said in the beginning, if you have questions or you want me to dive deeper into this topic or any of the topics you hear on the podcast, always reach out to me. That truly helps me. And one last thing, if you are a podcast listener, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. We upload the podcast to YouTube every Monday. And I cannot emphasize this enough. If you are a podcast listener, you need to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. We are going to continue uploading the podcast to YouTube. So please make sure you are subscribed. We will have the link to that in the show notes. And it's youtube.com/@mycreativedays. Every platform, or My Creative Days. So you can find us easily. And then when you're over there, if you click on the bell, you will be notified when anything new is launched on the channel. And besides the podcast that I do there every Monday, I am uploading new videos every week. So you will be able to see all of those as well. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.